And one more thing that I find as a big problem is that BPOs are not connected or don't feel loyalty necessarily to your brand, right? To your client, because they're not your employees, right?
There's two ways to look at that. So first, I'll echo exactly your sentiment. So I had a negative experience just at the weekend with what was clearly an offshore location that I had to speak to in relation to my credit card. And I ended up encountering difficulty, and it's just added fuel to the fire and just increased my level of frustration.
Mhm.
So I totally sympathize with what you're saying there. But in terms of whether or not the BPOs align with the brand or don't align with the brand, I think that very much comes down to sometimes the specific center that is providing that service, right? Now, I'll go back to my early operational days. So, probably about 15 years ago, I was an operations manager on a very well known retail client in the UK. And we set this client up from scratch, and it was the creation of a technical support function that was previously existing within each branch of this specific client. Now, we invested so much time, effort, and attention on that specific client in the UK because they were a premium, reputable brand, and we ran a very focused and specific recruitment and training campaign for those. Now, what was specifically unique to this particular client is if you asked any of the advisors or the staff who they worked for, they would tell you they worked for the client. They wouldn't even tell you that they worked for the BPO, even though they did work for the BPO.
Isn't that a
Um,
scam?
but clearly that there are instances and scenarios whereby, on the flip side of the coin, if those e- employees have not been recruited with a proper brand image in mind and given proper immersive training to support that specific brand, it absolutely can go the other way. I totally agree with you.
Right. So for me, and again, I'm looking as an end customer, isn't it a scam like if I ask you, who do you work for to
Hmm.
identify as the brand? Because you're not working for them. That's not your employer. You're representing them,
Yeah,
but you work for them. And you can do a lot of damage.
yes, you can. But at the end of the day, that could also be said if you were an agent who actually worked for that company within the in-house centers. You could do just as much damage being an employee of that business that um, just basically woke up on the wrong side of the bed that morning and decided that you were going to give a certain level of service which didn't meet that of the customer. So I mean, I get your sentiments on that. It comes down to a balance, and clients have to weigh up. Do they want to provide this service themselves? And can they do it at the scale that the BPOs can, or can't they? Because if they can do it themselves, they then have to ask themselves the question, do they want to do it? Because like I mentioned at the beginning, these clients, their bread and butter is not contact center operations. Their bread and butter is either the retail aspect of things or the manufacturing or the development of specific software, et cetera, et cetera. Um, why would they want to divert their attention to something like the contact center provision? In the same way as a lot of the time, these clients might outsource their cleaning, um, and a lot of the time, outsourcers outsource their cleaning. They don't employ cleaners themselves in a lot of cases. Clearly, they do in some, but it depends on the specific location.